Although it's seen as a branch of fine art, performance art takes the work out of the frame and off the plinth and creates it in the real world, with the artist establishing some kind of relationship with the viewer.
Put simply, a performance artist has to make things happen, and in a way that engages the audience.
It takes an inventive mind, multi-skilling, and a can-do attitude. But Kieron Jina thrives on these challenges, as Zakeeya discovered.
When Shakespeare wrote that all the world's a stage, he probably didn't have performance art in mind. That doesn't stop the line being any less appropriate to Kieron Jina, whose life and art combine in a dazzling mix of dance, mime, fashion and film.
Even the most disorganized people, and I might have to admit I'm one of them sometimes, like a sense of order in their lives. We like to label things and put things in boxes because stability makes life that little bit easier, but this could lend to a closed mind. That's why we need creative and brave people to open doors for us, and that's why I'm about to meet Kieron Jina.
Zakeeya arrived to find Kieron blocking the moves of his latest work, and she didn't want to disturb his concentration.
Hi.
Tell us about the piece you just performed.
Sure, let me just put on my glasses. You know, these stage lights are a bit bright. Basically, I'm creating a solo and I'm working with Asian, so Japanese forms of movement and African forms of movement as well, and combining them together to formulate what will be a new solo.
So who is Kieron Jina? Where do you come from, and what are some of the early experiences that have shaped who you are?
I'm an interdisciplinary artist and academic, working predominantly in the mediums of choreography, experimental filmmaking and fashion styling. And I'm originally from Durban. I was born there and then moved to Johannesburg with my family. Some of the experiences that have shaped who I am, I think definitely the country's history of where I reside and the contextual issues that we face on a daily basis.
How did you first develop an interest in art and fashion?
For me, it was definitely my family. Just the general sense of how they appreciated each other and complemented each other with kindness, particularly in the way they dressed or the way they viewed architecture and space.
At what point did it develop from an interest into a passion and then a career choice?
I think it started from viewing images, having a really good role model as my mom, who encouraged me to educate myself and expose myself. And those two key principles were basically what became the foundation for my education in tertiary level, and then my international exposure as a creator and artist, and then basically feeding my soul and my art through educating young people and them educating me at the same time.
Kieron also holds a Master of Dramatic Arts degree, and as a tutor at Wits University, his students know him to be an inspiring, if demanding teacher.
Kieron, what drew you to performance art?
Many different things, I suppose. The body and the way in which it interacts with audiences, and particularly the various different elements that work around it, such as the lighting, the fashion, the style, the costumes, the direction.
Kieron, what would you say the aim of performance art is?
Sometimes it's putting on a pair of high heels and shocking audiences as a male body. And we need to also think about how do we shift and analyze spaces and view the world differently. Could I interest you in maybe creating something special with me?
I would love to do a small performance piece with you. I'm just going to slip into something a little bit more comfortable.
Oh, okay, great.
Perfect.
Zakeeya may prefer rehearsing in a leotard, but Kieron has gained notoriety for his unconventional costumes, with neither chunky platform shoes nor wedding dress chiffon cramping his style.
Basically, you take your left hand across, spread your fingers, and trace your right hand across it. You shift into your right diagonal, and you turn. Beautiful. Create a ball, touch the floor, tracing right, and up towards the ceiling, tracing down, sitting on your bum cheeks, forward, and release.
If that is what performance art is about, I'm very into it.
Really?
Tell me about the audience participation in performance art.
Well, besides the fact that they need to receive what you're creating, I think it's important that audiences become active participants in watching a performance. So inviting them onto the stage and teaching them a couple of steps, and then they become a part of the show.
What inspires you in the creation of your work?
Well, I think my immediate surroundings. I think it's important to react to where I'm living and how that affects my work.
What are some of your current projects and works in progress?
I just finished a project in Berlin, and I was collaborating with two amazing artists, one from Tokyo and a German actor, and together we created a show called Lost in Transition. I'm now currently creating a show called #ToyToy.
As a co-founder of the Stash the Suitcase collective, Kieron has created a number of works in which concepts of gender and identity are interrogated and explored.
It may seem far-fetched, but in a way we all practice performance art in the way we dress. Having danced with Kieron, I've experienced his creativity, and now I'm excited to see how he applies this to his personal style.
His height, build and looks could probably have secured him a successful career as a model, but Kieron is even more fascinated by the idea of creating fashion.
Kiran, you look amazing.
Please tell us about your outfit.
Basically, myself and Roman Hunt are collaborating on a fashion film, and we will be creating together to design the new look for my next show that will travel internationally.
Would you agree that fashion and even the way we dress is performance art on a basic human level?
Yes, I mean, from the ordinary clothing that we wear on a daily basis, there is a certain interest from a personal perspective.
How would you describe your personal style?
It's more about Afro chic and also keeping it modern contemporary. For example, I would wear one of these two, basically an African jewelry piece, and then some African textile fabric with a leather jacket, a denim jeans, and a boot, and the new Afro chic.
You're planning to launch your own fashion label. Tell us a bit about it.
My label will be quite an interesting mix of performance arts and African textiles, and I'm looking towards Afro Homo as a kind of tagline.
Where did the name come from?
Well, Afro Homo is basically to question our relationship with stereotypes and prejudice, and for me, I think, you know, Afro chic, and particularly around how Africa is accepting homosexuality, and that's a very important part around non-stigmatization of other human beings.
Do you have a message or advice for aspiring performance artists and designers?
Keep feeding your mind with creative art and creative influences. I think never let go of your passion.
If you expect your artwork to be presented to you in a gallery and preferably against a wall, then performance art is going to come as a bit of a shock to you. Kiran does aim to shock, but he also aims to make you think. This way, we can make the most of this amazing performance artwork called life, and Kiran is inspiring us to do so with style.